Alright, today is Thursday, October 12th, 2017, and I just wanted to give you all the heads up that this will be the last public video that I make, at least of my life. Apparently I have followers now on YouTube, and not that I'm complaining. I always knew that I did because I could see when you guys comment or like a video and stuff like that. But I do have to protect my career because of the nature of what I do for a living. You know, someone might try to use a video of mine against me, and nowadays in this world you just never know anymore. So because of that, although I have nothing to hide, you guys see my videos, still nonetheless it is a risk. It is a risk that someday, who knows, I don't know, maybe in a passionate, angry moment I say something and that someone uses it against me. Not that I would ever say anything like a racist comment or something of that sort, but people take things out of context, and I don't want to be that guy who says something in one way and then someone decides to take another way and then makes something out of it that isn't supposed to be the case, and then I'm out of a job and a career, etc., etc. Plus, it is kind of creepy that people are following me and watching my life, and I have no idea who you people are because YouTube doesn't let you see who's following you, so that's kind of weird. So, based on that, I mean, the reality is I started these videos not for the public, but for my kids, because I want my kids and my great-great-great-great-grandkids to someday know who I am, where they came from, because I'm first generation Latino. And I wanted them to hear from my mother, which would be their great-great-great-great-grandmother, how we came to this country, etc., etc., etc. So that was the pure intent of this. But what I believe happened was when the video of the shooting in the state fair was put all over the news, that brought attention to this YouTube channel. So I'm gonna have to start a new one. And thank you all for watching. And all of my other videos will be, transitioned there and made private. Again, nothing to hide. Thank you for watching. It was a pleasure. Hope you enjoyed what you saw. Take care. Well, this is the new GoPro Hero 6, day 1, recording with it to see how well it does. Hopefully my stupid dogs won't start barking. Once again, the GoPro Hero 6 all of a sudden stops recording for no reason whatsoever. So I might have to return and exchange this. I already did the firmware update, but it still stops recording out of the random blue, even though I'm not touching anything. So we will continue to monitor that. Alright, so one functionality that I'm checking for in this new GoPro Hero 6 is the ability to just press record while the camera is off, and for it to start recording. Once again, the camera stopped recording. Alright, well, the GoPro Hero 6 has turned off twice in the last couple of minutes, and I had to literally take out the battery to reboot it. I suspect it's the SD card because in the past when I've had trouble with GoPro, it was usually because of the SD card. So we'll have to see if replacing the SD card will make a difference. If not, then the Hero 6 needs to be replaced for another one and see if maybe it does a better job. What I will say though is that the video stabilization on this, at least from the LCD screen that I'm looking at now, seems to be pretty phenomenal. I'm driving, and in my Hero 5 session, you could see the camera shaking quite visibly here. Video stabilization seems pretty amazing. And plus I like the fact that I can see the LCD screen. That's a plus because I can see what I'm recording. And at the same time confirm that I'm still actually recording. Since with the Hero 5 there wasn't really any way to do that, especially since I don't like the red blinking light going on. I would always turn it off. So this is pretty cool. So far, I'm impressed. We just got to get over the frickin' camera turning off, which again I suspect is the SD card. Alright, so right now I'm in my office in Oradell, New Jersey.
this is part of the reason why I'm going to recreate a new page, because technically speaking, I'm not supposed to record anything here at the office, and I'm not doing anything bad by doing it. Like, you can't see any client information, but technically speaking, if someone wanted to rob a bank, they could use the layout of this video to figure out a way in, So that's part of why I'm creating a private page that no one can access and that is no longer public. But I'm at the same time testing the GoPro, which so far it hasn't stopped.
All right, so did it again. What the fuck? All right, something happened right there with the video camera. I accidentally pressed something on the LCD screen, it looks like. So right now I'm heading to see Dr. William Penny, I believe is his name, in East Rutherford, New Jersey, or Linden, New Jersey, one of those two. He is a therapist, and you, my children, and future generations, if you recall, oh crap, I just missed a turn. If you recall, in the past, I've spoken about, shit, I gotta do a U-turn. I've spoken about another psychiatrist that I was seeing. His name was Dr. Sean Luo, and he prescribed me good medicine that I have found very helpful, which is escitalopram 20 milligrams and naltrexone 50 milligrams, which I've been taking now for about a year, and it has helped me tremendously, because I unfortunately do struggle with depression, anxiety. I struggle with addictive behaviors, to some degree mildly obsessive compulsive disorders, and I also have attention deficit disorder, and even maybe a little bit of dyslexia, because sometimes I read something and it's hard for me to grasp it, and that the latter is more in older age, because my mind was a lot sharper before. Now, for some reason, I guess as I get older, things are not as clear as they used to be. But in either event, I'm going to a new therapist now. I stopped going to Dr. Sean Luo because, I needed his help, and because he didn't receive full payment from the insurance company yet, he put his business before his patients, in my opinion. So I'm still technically using him for the medicine side of things, but I don't want to use him for the therapy side of things. So I'm trying this guy, Dr. William Penny, who so far I like him. I only seen him one time, but he's good. Now what I do want to share is something that Dr. Penny has said to me, and that even the idiot Sean Luo said, and I don't agree with. Both of them have said that they think that I might be self-destructive. Now, the way that I interpret that is that I accomplish stuff and then I try to self-implode. I try to somehow purposely destroy something. As an example, I've accomplished a lot in my career, but for some reason I then try to destroy it. I establish a good friendship with someone, but then I try to sabotage the friendship. I have a great, fantastic wife who loves me, and then I somehow try to sabotage that relationship. I disagree, and I asked your mother, my wife, Dalia, about it, and she also disagrees with the assessment, and I think she gave a better description of what it is that I'm experiencing. It's not that I'm self-destructive, or at least not purposefully self-destructive. What it is that I have certain character traits that lead me towards self-destructive behaviors. That doesn't mean that I'm purposely trying to self-destruct. I staunchly disagree with that. But because I have these characteristics, it leads to my causing myself harm. So as an example, I'm now a vice president at an investment firm. I have about 60 million under management that I'm responsible for at the firm.
I make a good amount of money. But, you know, at work, for some reason, I've lost that passion. I lost that edge. I lost the desire to work as hard as I used to. The I thought this thing stopped recording. The therapist would suggest that it's because I have the tendency of blowing things up that I succeed at. I don't think it's on purpose. What I think it is that I lose focus easily. I lose attention easily. If something is not interesting me, I just lose interest and I move on to something else that grabs my attention. That doesn't mean that I'm purposely trying to implode or self-destruct. It just means that I get bored easily and that I need to be kept attentive somehow. You know, same thing with Hillsong Church as an example. I used to be a leader, and technically speaking I still am, but I just don't have any position or title. But I used to be an active leader at Hillsong Church. I ran a couple of ministries for Hillsong. Nothing major. You know, like Infobar, I led that. I led hosting for Wednesday night services. What else did I do? Oh, and I was also an active part of something called City Hope, where we helped homeless people. You know, but and specifically I led something called the Relief Bus, which is where I would bring teams out to the streets of New Jersey and New York to feed homeless people out of buses. All three ministries at once were taken away from me, not because I did anything bad, but simply because there were changes in the church. And, you know, it wasn't anything about me, anything personal. They just made a lot of changes, just like any corporate world. And as a result, my ministries were shut down. Now, the problem is that once the ministries got shut down, they weren't replaced with anything. So as a result, I was left twiddling my thumbs with nothing to do except be a church patron. You know, and, you know, I believe strongly in listening to the word, and I would do that when I would serve. I would still be able to listen to the word, but just sitting there doing nothing, I lose interest. I get bored. And little by little, gradually I started fading away from the church. And it took a long time to explain to the pastor, Matt, you know, that I was like, Matt, the reason why I'm fading away is because I have nothing to do. There are people in this world who learn by listening. There are people in this world who learn by reading, some by seeing, some by feeling. There are others then who are like me, who learn by doing. I have to do. I have to be active. I have to be kept busy in order for me to learn the thing. You could read something to me 50 million times. You could tell it to me 100 million times, but until I do it and experience it, it doesn't become an intimate part of me. So that's where I'm getting at when it comes to these quote-unquote self-destructive behaviors. I'm not self-destructive. I didn't destroy my relationship with Hillsong. I simply, you know, was not kept busy, and as a result I lost interest and, you know, have not been attending the church. So in either event, this therapist is going to be helping me with going through some tests to identify whether or not I am in fact self-destructive. I'm sure the test will prove that I'm not, and then hopefully we can focus on things that are more specific to... I am here at the medical office. This, by the way, is a place, Wellness One, where I'm starting to go for a chiropractor. Really good guy, talks a lot, but I like his I like how he adjusts my back, very strong. Plus the location is great. And this is how I also found my now therapist, Dr. William Penny, because I was walking by and saw him here. There we go. So the other reason why I record these videos is so that you can better understand my psychology and why I am a certain way and do things a certain way, and what you can hopefully learn from it all. But one of the observations that my therapist made today... Oh, damn it, I just went the wrong way. Fuck. Oh, well. One of the observations that my therapist made today, you know, was asking about my mother and what my relationship was with her. And I explained that that my mother was hypercritical, and never satisfied with anything that I did. I gave the example of when I graduated from college. I graduated with honors, and when you graduate with honors, there's 3 levels. The first level is cum laude. The second level, I think, is magna cum laude, and the third level is summa cum laude. I could have the second and third ones wrong. But in either event, I graduated with the first level, which is, not the highest level of honors. And the way that I envisioned this was, they give you these honors cords that you put around your neck. And I visualized that I was going to go up to my mother and take these honor cords and put them around her neck and say, "Mom, this is for you." And I imagined that she'd be like, "Oh, thank you, mijo. I'm so proud of you." What happened instead was I took the honor cords and I put them around her neck. And she said, "Oh, thank you, mijo. But next time get those." Broke my heart, destroyed me. Ruined my graduation day because, I felt that I had accomplished something and I felt that I would make her proud finally. Apparently I was wrong. And the observation that my therapist made was, he was like, "Well, why do you think she's like that? Why do you think that she's hypercritical?" And I said, because she's never satisfied. She's not proud of me. I assumed that it was because I represent her successes or her failures. And he said, no. He was like, usually when people are hypercritical, it's because they're not happy with themselves. They're not satisfied with themselves. And when people are not happy with themselves, they find it difficult to find satisfaction in other people. And that's why they become so critical. And it makes sense to me. So, in conclusion, part of the reason why with you guys I try very hard to provide constructive criticism, but at the same time to always remind you of how much I love you unconditionally, is yes, part of it is because I am comfortable with myself, but it's more because I don't ever want you to feel what it is to never be enough. The way that I've always felt when it came to my mother, I'm never enough. No matter what good I do, it's never enough. It's, whatever, it is what it is. But I don't want you guys to ever feel that feeling, because it's horrible. It's disappointing. It's saddening. It depresses me a lot. So that's why I make it a point to make sure you guys understand why I love you so unconditionally. Anyway, that's it for now. I'm gonna get some food. Talk to you later. I'm gonna stop by KFC, get me some lunch. Not healthy, but it's good. One of the topics that I wanted to talk about is the topic of acid reflux. If you guys recall, or if you're my great-great-grandchildren watching this, if you ever have an experience where you're coughing a lot uncontrollably, I have spent a lot of time researching to find out what the hell is the cause of that cough. And what I've learned is that the cause is acid reflux, also known as GERD, I don't know what the fuck it stands for, I want to say intestinal reflux disease. But one of the interesting things that I found out is that with this cough, you'll notice that there's a thick mucus that comes out of the mouth. Sometimes it gets stuck in the esophagus, and that's what actually causes the cough. The reason why, I learned yesterday from Dr. Harry Snady, S-N-A-D-Y, out of Weehawken, New Jersey. Very good gastroenterologist. He'll unfortunately probably be dead by the time you guys watch this, but he's great. He explained to me that the cause of that thick mucus that builds up is the body creates this thick mucus as a barrier within the throat to prevent acid from coming up the stomach and into the esophagus. And what winds up happening, unfortunately, is that sometimes that thick mucus itself goes into the esophagus and causes the cough. So that's why that mucus is so prominent. A way to deal with it is to drink warm water before and after meals and throughout the day. or well, that's my suggestion. What he said was hot tea, hot black tea, plain tea, not chamomile or seasoned tea, just plain old tea. Or like me, warm water. Hopefully that helps. There's that cough I was talking about. So much traffic. So right now I am speeding to home from my office. I have I take classes through the Harvard Extension School, which is pretty much Harvard University distance learning for people who can't be physically on campus all the time. What's really cool about it is that you can take many classes online through web conference, a live conference that is, and also it has in-person classes as well, weekend classes, late night classes, etc. But right now I'm rushing my ass home because the class that I'm in, which is a writing class, is the professor is super tough, like ridiculously tough. He has a very strict policy where if my iPad, I don't want my iPad to fall. He has a super strict policy that if you're not in class by 5:10 p.m. he considers you absent, and if you miss 2 classes you are formally excluded from the class, meaning that you don't get a grade, you fail. So this guy's a prick, he doesn't play. So I had to have mommy, meaning your mommy, not mine, sign in to the Harvard website for me, so that way all I have to do is walk in and I'll already be signed in and won't miss the class. Alright, arriving home, rushing my ass, trying to get in front of my computer by 5:10 p.m. Checking the mail though real quick. And check the stabilization on the video, because I'm walking pretty fast right now. Howdy. Alright. How's it going? Thanks, sir.
Every other week, or every week, each of you gives a presentation. So I had like 7 presentations that semester for that one course, but it was always one small paragraph, close reading, developing the claim about the entire novel. And I think that was the class I learned the most in my entire, in all the courses I've taken during that time.
You know, it's called Notifications on the Canvas app. I think it is under an.
This thing just started recording all by itself, although I'm not touching it. Like literally, it just started recording all by itself.
Webpage.
That's nuts.
Yes.
And now we're going into a breakout room. The host is inviting us to join breakout room.